Welcome, everyone, to Bet What Happens Live. I'm your host, Nick Giffen, predictive analyst here at Action Network. And joining me, of course, as always, Grant Neefer of Scores and Odds. Grant, we went 8-1 on Monday Night Football. So let's try to back that up with another big game here. What do you think?
Oh, we're on a tear right now. Never leave the table on a heater. No, that's from The Hangover.
Exactly. So give us those thumbs up. Hit the like button for that 8-1 game just a few days ago. Man, if we hit 200 likes, we almost got there last time. If we hit 200 likes, we'll have a doubleheader for you for Monday Night Football. We're doing it anyway. But
yeah, guys, go like. Go
hit the
like.
like button. By the way, it's also my mom's birthday. Happy birthday to my mom. Hit the like button for her as well. But let's talk about this game. Right now, it is 14-3 in favor of the New York Jets. Jets have the ball at the 2-minute warning here. They just got a first down. They're right around midfield. Grant, where are we looking for bets first?
So what I first want to look at is Brissett's passing yards, currently sitting at 24 for the game, is lined at 140.5 over at FanDuel, 150.5 over at Fanatics. I know that the game script kind of leans towards him passing the ball, but if we have value on the under, then I kind of want to hit it. There is a chance Drake May ends up getting in there. It won't surprise me at all. Got excited there, saw Ryan Fitzpatrick in a Jets jersey, and then remembered that he was retired and got really sad. But what do we have at the current line for model?
We have 144, and the Patriots don't have the ball right now. They will start with it in the second half, so I think that's pretty fair.
Darn it. The 145 over on Fanatics. I really want to hit. I'm hitting the under. 145.5 over Fanatics, minus 105. Just moved to minus 115 odds on the under.
There we go. So Jacoby Brissett under 145.5 passing yards. Obviously, shop that around if you can. But
it's
we're
Fanatics.
showing
Fanatics is by far the best line.
Yeah. So FanDuel has 133.5. So definitely don't take the under there. And then I'm just pulling up DraftKings here as well.
136.5, 135.5 at Caesars.
Yeah, wouldn't take the under at any of those. So only if you have Fanatics, you should take that under for Jacoby Brissett, 145.5 passing yards. So let's see if we can find something else that's a little more widely available.
Yeah, no, it was at 140 on FanDuel right before that happened. So unfortunate there. Looking at other things, Hunter Henry, 28.5 receiving yards. I know I just took Brissett's under on passing yards, but I want to know what you have projected. He's currently got 9. He's obviously been a huge part of this offense since the beginning of the season. I expect him to be a little bit more involved in the second half. Again, part of the Brissett line was hoping Drake May ends up coming in there for at least the last quarter, but who knows what will end up happening. What do we have for Hunter Henry's total projection?
We have 28.5. You said we're at 60% to the over. So even though we like the under on Brissett and the model likes the under from that 145.5, we're showing over on Henry receiving yards.
Yeah, so let's hold off a second here. It's sitting at 31.5, which I still don't mind the over at that number at FanDuel, but it's off the board everywhere else. So kind of in limbo at the moment here. Not a ton of lines. Let's look at some other ones and I'll let you know. 28.5 over at DK. There we go. Let's hit the over there.
28.5 at DraftKings. Is that what you said?
Yep, minus 110 on the over.
Yeah, so let me just make sure it's not ghosted out or anything. Receiving yards, Hunter Henry. Yeah, over 28.5 minus 110. That is a bet at DraftKings. We have, again, 60% to the over there for Hunter Henry on over 28.5 receiving yards as our next bet here on Bet What Happens Live.
So do we know any news on Stevenson? I haven't heard anything. I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen any Stevenson. Obviously, that can make a little bit of a difference, and I'm checking right now to see if it's ghosted out at the moment. But Antonio Gibson, he's at 11.5 for his line. I think even with the game script not looking great, he's more of a third down back anyways. So in clear passing situations, there's a lot of scenarios where you can end up getting there and getting the work. Obviously, has not done much of anything so far this game. I think he'll still be at 0 rushing yards. Yes, he is. He's only gotten 2 receptions, but 11.5 minus 115 on the over. What do we have for that?
For rushing or receiving?
Rushing. I also am interested in his receiving when pops
We have
up.
57.5%, 58% to the over on 11.5 rushing yards.
Yeah, the margin's thin, but I think I'm still rolling with it. We'll take that over.
All right, so Antonio Gibson over 11.5 rushing yards is the next bet on Bet What Happens Live, which again could have a little hidden extra value if Ramondre Stevens is still dealing with that knock. I know, at least from my quick search, it looks like he still is. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But any little, we're showing value on that even without Ramondre Stevenson banged up. So there's just potentially some extra value there.
Yeah, I think FanDuel's the only one that has it up right now because of that. So yeah, if there's moderate value. So if Stevenson is not in the rest of the game, there's massive value on that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So FanDuel has that over 11.5 minus 115 for Antonio Gibson over rushing yards.
Yeah, let's see other things. Austin Hooper at 6.5 receiving yards is his line. He currently has 0. Don't know if I have any lean either way. I was wondering if the model does while I'm looking through some other things.
What did you say the line was? 11.5?
6.5.
Oh, sorry, 6.5. Right at 50-50.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Looking through things, Braylon Allen, 0.5 receiving yards. So if you guys have this, it's not quite an ARB situation, but it's a potential fun middle. FanDuel's at plus 112 on the over, just went down, but it'll pop back up here in a second. DraftKings is 1.5 minus 115 on the under. So you could potentially have some fun there if you can snag both of them. Hope for a 1-yard reception, but very little, if any, value there. I just want to know what the model says at 0.5.
Yeah, we're right at 50-50 on 0.5 or 1.5 because it's basically the same thing. There's
Okay, we're hitting that then. 0.5 plus 122 on the over at FanDuel. So now there is a potential middle ARB situation. I mean, I would say we'll hit the under on DraftKings and guarantee it, but
so Braylon Allen over half a receiving yard.
point one so plus 140 at the moment.
Yeah, over half a receiving yard plus 140 at FanDuel. We have this 50-50, so the 40 cents extra juice is why, the plus money there is why we're taking this. So plus 140 over half a yard receiving for Braylon Allen.
Yeah, that's just a fun line. I'm trying to get it down here real quick.
We're at 46 seconds left in the half again, just to kind of recap here. I'm just going to pull up the money lines just to get as accurate as possible, but it's not going to change much. We're at 93% New York Jets winning right now, and it's probably going to go up from here.
Nice. What do we have for Rodgers live line?
For passing yards,
Yeah, which almost
well,
changed there drastically.
that might, yeah, I was gonna say that might change right here. He's at 157. Before that play, we had 265.5.
All right. Current lines down everywhere.
Yeah, with the call here. Okay, flag, replay, second down. So he has 157 passing yards right now. And our live projection is 265.5 for Aaron Rodgers.
All right. We have 242.5 over at FanDuel. That's a tough one.
It is a tough one because they're not probably passing for a whole lot more here, obviously, because they're in Patriots territory and they won't start with the ball in the second half either.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah, we'll stay away from that without them getting in the second half. What about Braylon Allen's rushing yards? I'm currently line sitting at, I'm gonna double check. If you have MGM up, make sure that this line's still on, but they have it at 46.5. Fanatics has it at 60. FanDuel has it at 59.5. So I think that's just a stale line over at MGM. But what do we have for his rest of game numbers?
He's at how many right now?
He is at, open 6 different things at once on my phone.
Yeah.
He's at 40.
40 right now for Braylon Allen. We have rest of game 18.5, which would put it at 58.5.
Just opening up MGM here because it looks like it might just be a stale line, but double checking. GM sometimes just slow. So many different books.
Yeah, I see 57.5 at BetMGM, which is right in line with what we're at.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes more sense. All right, we'll stay away from that. Um, yeah, Jim's just not getting in here. Let's see. Look at rushing stats. These.
So 29 seconds left. The Jets have 3rd and 5. And gonna have a little pass attempt here. They do get the first down to Mike Williams, so clock is running, and we'll see if the Jets take a timeout. They have 1 timeout remaining. I'm gonna tick this over to the second half if we're gonna end up looking at Patriots props, just
Yeah, we'll look at
because.
some Patriot stuff here. Gonna be some more value on that here. Just looking through things. Um, did Braylon just cash?
For his receiving yards, I
Yeah,
believe he just did.
hilarious.
That
Absolutely
is.
hilarious.
So there
So,
we go.
all right, guys,
Braylon Allen, over half of receiving yards has cashed, as long as he doesn't get any negative props, yardage in here. That will
if
have
you guys
cash.
bet that,
So
then hit the like button.
I was gonna say, if you guys had the chance to bet the over half a yard, hit the like button. We just hit a prop again live here on Bet What Happens Live.
Gosh,
So yeah,
beautiful.
if we're looking at Patriots props, that'll probably be the way to go right now because they're unlikely to get the ball back, and I can tick it over to the second half pretty easily.
Yeah, what do we have for Gibson receiving yards? Again, sitting at 14 and a half. He's at 9, or is that 8? That seems like there could be a lot of value on that.
All right. So Antonio Gibson, 8 receiving yards. And what's the line you said?
14 and a half.
14 and a half. We have 68% to the under, but that was obviously with Ramondre Stevenson totally healthy here. So remains to be seen.
But that much, yeah, we're going to stay away from that one. We already have his rushing yards. It's
Yeah.
just so tough not Stevenson. And now a few other books are starting to pop back up, or at least Bet Rivers is starting to pop back up with his line. Makes me think that Stevenson may be coming back into play. We have a big pass here that's through the
Through the end
goalpost.
zone. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Aaron Rodgers. Looking at some other guys. We'll just start going through some of the wide receivers for the Patriots. So Polk lines between 15 and a half, 18 and a half. He's currently at 6 yards of receiving. 18 and a half might have some value on that under.
18 and a half. We're right at 50-50 at 18 and a half. So 16 and a half would be maybe slightly over, actually.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it's minus 118 on the over at 15 and a
Yeah.
half.
So not enough
Maybe
there.
from that. KJ Osborne, 10 and a half. It's currently his line. He has 0.
10 and a half. Let's pop that in there. 59% to the over.
Minus, check to make sure it's minus 110 over MGM because then we'll hit that.
Yeah,
So
I'm
I'm looking
flipping over to
at
MGM right now. Receiving KJ Osborne. Let me see.
10 and a
Let me
half,
see
minus 110
here.
on the over. We're hitting it.
Oh, you have it up. Oh, I had it on. I didn't have it on.
Yep,
I don't see KJ Osborne up there.
it's there. I'm looking at it right now.
That's so weird. I'm looking at it right now and don't see it, but that's fine. If you have KJ Osborne over 10 and a half receiving yards, minus 110, go ahead and take that. I might need to refresh that right there.
I mean, live betting between MGM and FanDuel can every once in a while have some glitches, but
Yeah, there it is. I refreshed and it's 10 and a half minus 115 to the over. So KJ Osborne over 10 and a half receiving yards, minus 115 at BetMGM is officially the next bet here on Bet What Happens Live.
okay, let's look at Breece Hall rushing yards. Currently sitting at 73 and a half. I think it came in at 70 and a half before FanDuel X'd it out. It'll come back up here in a second. But I want to be ready and pounce on it when it comes back up here. What do you have? I feel like the over. He's at 43 and a half or 43 rushing yards at the moment.
Yeah, over. Definitely
Passing
over. If we see a 73 and a half pop up, we definitely have to hit the over.
Yeah, there's 73 and a half over at DK. I don't think there's anything lower outside of Fanatics, which is at, yeah, we're doing 73 and a half at minus 115 at DK. We're hitting that over.
It looks like it's, yeah, lit up right there. 73 and a half, minus 115 to the over on Breece Hall at DraftKings, if you have that, we're showing 67% to the over. That definitely looks a little low for sure. So over 73.5 rushing yards, minus 115 for Breece Hall at DraftKings.
All right. Looking through things, we're about to hit. Oh, was that missed? Oh,
All
all right.
righty.
Let's
Well,
just.
that'll change the game state just a tiny bit. That makes it a little more likely that New England is able to come back. So I do need to update the live odds for that.
Yeah, it's going to change some things. I'll look through and see if there's
So
anything
now instead of
popping
being
up.
93 to 95% to win for the Jets, now they're 90% to win based off current live money line odds, averaging them across a few different books.
Okay. All right. So that makes sense there. Just looking through things. Not a ton is popping up at the moment. I mean, we'll look in, I guess we can look into the Jet stuff. Lizard King, Alan Lazard, his line's
They're
sitting at 56 and a half, 55 and a half. He
trying to
currently
throw it here with Brissett. They get a first down on that play, and 1 second left. That's really unfortunate. We wanted them to kneel it out there since they're going to get start with the ball.
yeah, especially considering I also have
We took
Brissett's
that under.
under
Yeah.
on rushing yards.
So
Now, did
that's
you guys did you take it? Beautiful.
yeah, that's an unfortunate play there just from the fact that they didn't kneel it out. So we'll have to see if they do anything with this 1 second left. Or did they take it all the way to halftime? They did take it all the way to halftime.
Well,
Wait, nope, 1 second left. Okay.
this is exciting. All right, we'll wait till after this play, but yeah, check
Three
what
seconds left. They
Lazard
put
is.
2 seconds back on.
Yeah, check what Lazard's at. This play could change things, but most likely will not. Now Stevenson's back in.
Very deep
Please.
throw and falls incomplete. All right, so that does take us to halftime. Before we get into that bet, though, once again, hit the like button. We already hit a bet here. We went 8-1 on Monday Night Football, and of course, if you aren't signed up for Action Pro, make sure you do that. Action Pro, of course, has Sean Kerner's player props and my live model and all that. So make sure to sign up for Action Pro so you can live bet along with us on Sundays as well. But Grant, let's talk some bets here for halftime now that we've gotten to half.
Yeah, so I'm not really seeing too much on receiving or passing. Again, what did you have Lazard at for his current projection? Line setting at 54 and a half. He's currently at 48 receiving yards.
48 receiving yards, 54.5. We're actually showing a little bit of value to the over 58%, but you got to remember the Jets are not starting with the ball. So I'd probably bump that down around 55%, which isn't really beating the juice.
Plus 100 on the over at Fanatics. I'm gonna hit that. I like that. But that's kind of specifically Fanatics play. I don't hate it at minus 120 at 54 and a half over at DraftKings, but 55 and a half plus 100 on the over at Fanatics. It's a solid line there.
Yeah. So if you have Fanatics over 54.5, I think it was, you said, receiving yards plus 100, but that's pretty much a Fanatics specific play there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'll let you know if something pops up on the board that's better. But I just like that over. Model semi agrees with me, so we'll keep it. Looking through things, looking at touchdowns right now. So all right, FanDuel finally came back on the board because a lot of the other odds were garbage. Antonio Gibson with Stevenson back in there, probably not any value at plus 750.
No.
DeMario plus 1100. I guess
I
would
like
be
that one. We have 9-1 right there, and Polk we have at 10.5-1.
all right. So it's a plus 1300 over at Fanatics. We'll hit that for a quarter unit, but still like it at FanDuel at plus 1100. That's still a good line.
For Demario Douglas.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you have FanDuel, 11-1. If you have Fanatics, 13-1 for Demario Douglas. How big of a unit are you going on that one?
We'll go quarter unit. We're not
Quarter unit on Demario Douglas. Anytime touchdown, 11-1.
guys, hit the like button. What about KJ Osborne? Currently at plus 1,000.
KJ Osborne, we're at 11 to 1 as fair odds.
All right, Thornton probably not going to be any value at 15 to 1.
Nope. With 17.
Rogers not doing it 25 to 1. They're too far ahead. Ooh, Braylon Allen plus 475, plus 470. Please tell me you got some value on that.
We're right at fair value on that.
Oh,
We're at 480 actually, which is pretty funny.
yeah. What about Garrett Wilson plus 450?
Garrett Wilson plus 450. Let me head over here. We're at plus 475. But Hunter Henry is an interesting one. I see 6.5 at FanDuel. We have plus 535 as fair on Hunter Henry.
I mean, we can throw a quarter unit on that. I have him at plus 500 or plus 460. Jill talked me onto it
Yeah.
before game time. I'm like, yeah, I'll throw some lunch money on that. Or
Yeah, and I mean, we do have the Patriots throwing 12% more than their pregame projection, right? They're going to be pretty pass heavy this half. So does set up well for Hunter Henry at plus 650 at FanDuel, quarter unit on his anytime touchdown. Hunter Henry plus 650.
so with the missed field goal, Stevenson was in at the end of the game or into the half.
Yeah.
His line's currently sitting at 350 or 330. He was plus 125 pregame. You don't like that?
No, we definitely don't have value on Ramondre Stevenson anytime touchdown.
Oh gosh, my pregame touchdown bets are not looking great, but that'll happen.
Yeah, it'll happen.
Still might end up paying off. Well, you never know. Never know. Fun part about gambling. Not really seeing anything else on here.
Let's revisit Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, no passing yard value on him either. Now, I was gonna say now that we're at halftime, we could revisit his prop, but I'm right in line with the market. I'm 8 yards over, but they don't have the ball.
Yeah. Brissett's sitting at 135 and a half. We already took his under at 145 and a half. Still don't think there's any value at 135 and a half, even after that 12-yard throw. Ooh, this is interesting now. Antonio Gibson, 8.5 receiving yards. They adjusted that line when they saw Stevenson back in there, I'm sure. Again, potential passing game script. Again, potential late game. Stevenson out, worried about an
At
injury.
8.5, we have value to the over.
All right, good. It's a plus 104 to the over on FanDuel, so we're hitting that.
Yeah, so Antonio Gibson plus 104 over 8.5 receiving yards at FanDuel. We are showing 61% to the over, and the Patriots start with the ball. And if Ramondre Stevenson does have to be a little bit limited because of his injury that he took, that could be even extra hidden value there. So we're going to take Antonio Gibson over 8.5 receiving yards plus 104 at FanDuel. Let me get to a couple of these chat questions because we've seen some things here. So looking at a question about Mike Williams anytime touchdown. We have 11 to 1 as fair value. So if there's anything longer than 11, you could potentially take it. I think I saw 12, which is pretty thin. So not sure I want to
12
take
to 1
that
at
though.
FanDuel is the best line, and I
Yeah,
just
it's pretty thin.
what do we have at Conklin?
Conklin, we have 11 to 1.
All right, right on the line for most of the
Yeah.
books.
Yeah.
So people want to know what the model has to say about Brissett rushing yards. Line's currently at 6.5.
And he has how many right now?
He has
0. All right, so let me check 6.5 on Jacoby Brissett. We're showing 64% to the under for Jacoby Brissett. We have 4.5 as his median.
all right. You said how much the under?
64%. But it's one of those where if he ends up scrambling more, then it probably isn't quite as worth it. I hate doing QB rushing props on That What Happens Live because I feel like those are the ones where I don't have the best grasp on it as far as just like, will he scramble more or not?
Yeah, I mean the one I'm kind of waiting for to pop back up is Rodgers rushing yards. Before I got it blacked out, it was 5.5. He's currently at 5. And if it pops back up here, I think there's some value on the under. Um, and as I'm a dude that's hoping he kneels the ball 3 times.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's basically a coin flip because, his negative rushing percentage goes up because of the late game stuff, but then there's still a chance he does scramble for something. So our model has it almost exactly as a coin flip.
Yeah, I mean, if it pops back up at 5.5, I'm hitting it, but it doesn't look like it's going to pop up anywhere. Let's look at some INT bets. Pull up the interception. I think
Yep,
two
yep.
lowest interception rates in the entire league.
Yeah, I was looking at it pregame. I like the under on both of these, but we'll have to see now that the game state, of course, has changed from pregame.
Well, Brissett's going to be the interesting one. Rodgers is at minus 475 on the.
Yeah, he's at plus 350 to have one. We're at plus 370 is fair that we need at least for Aaron Rodgers. And Jacoby Brissett, we need at least plus 175 to have value on his interception.
So we technically have value on the under at minus 165 over at DraftKings. So
It's super thin though, and they start with the ball, so
it's super thin. But again, I'm just kind of hoping on Drake May. If we didn't already have his under
that's
on
true.
passing yards, I'd think about it. So yeah, we're gonna stay away from that. And I'm not really seeing much of anything else. Again, what do you have Rodgers passing yards at? I know
We're 8 yards to the over on FanDuel. I have 258 and a half and 250 and a half is his line, but they don't start with the ball, so I think 250 and a half is fair.
yeah, we'll stay away from that one. I'm not really seeing anything.
People are asking about Alan Lazard, another touchdown. I have plus 925 as fair value, and the Jets don't start with the ball here. So maybe like plus 950 as fair value on 2+ touchdowns for Alan Lazard.
Yeah, as plus 700 over at DK.
Yeah,
Plus
I'm gonna
8,000 on over or plus 100 plus 13,000. There we go. Over 2.5 at Fanatics, but
Yeah, it's 2.5 though. Lazard 10-1 at FanDuel. So it's really thin value because we have plus 950 is fair. So probably not a bet I would recommend making there for Alan Lazard. Multiple touchdowns. Still looking at the chat. Garrett Wilson over receiving yards. I see a question there. Let me check. He has 15 right now.
36.5.
36 and a half is the line. We're at 50-50 on Garrett Wilson, so no value there.
What about Mike Williams? 16 is lined at 21.5.
21 and a half, and he's currently at 16, you said?
Yep.
55% to the over. So again, not really beating the juice unless it's plus money.
Yeah, plus they're not starting with the ball, so
Yeah.
stay away from that. I don't think I'm gonna have anything else.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And that's okay. We already made some bets. We fired off a bunch before we got to halftime. I'll keep looking at chat here. Hunter Henry plus 505. I would not take it at plus 505. We took plus 650 at FanDuel a little bit earlier. Just to check in a couple other things. Do you have any thoughts on any sides or totals or team totals or anything?
I've got nothing.
Nothing there. Yeah, I didn't think so. We're usually doing player props on here. Does Antonio Gibson 4 or more receptions have value plus 370 on FanDuel? No, our model's not going to show value on that,
If you're
especially
going,
with
yeah,
Ramondre Stevenson back.
yeah, if you're gonna do anything, he literally needs one more receiving yard.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, someone's asking about rush attempts for Allen. I'll look at it here. I don't see it anywhere. I don't see it on the board.
Yeah, let me check. Let me go over to rushing props. I don't see rushing attempts up anywhere. Yeah.
Someone is asking about completions.
Oh, here we go. Braylon Allen, it's ghosted out at 9.5. And he has 6. We're projecting 4.5 more. So if that comes back up, maybe. But I see it ghosted out right now at DraftKings and not on the board at FanDuel.
Yeah, looking up completions right now for Brissett. Someone asked about 18 and a half. He's currently at 7. Obviously more of a passing game script. It looks like it's at 17 and a half at the moment because they just added one on that might have been from a few minutes ago. We already hit Brissett under passing yards at 145. I don't hate it. I don't know if the model likes it, but I don't hate it at 130. Someone's asking in chat.
For what?
Brissett passing yards.
Passing yards. We have 152 passing yards.
Yeah. So if you want to hit that over, you can. I like the under. So we already made the bet at 145.
Yeah. Yeah, he got
I
that stupid long pass at like right at the end of the half, like 12 yards, which would have been 140 instead of 152 now, as our
yeah.
projection. But anyway, the third quarter is starting. So Grant and I have run out of stuff there. Once again, one final time, we'll ask you to hit the like button. From that 8-1 day we had on Monday Night Football, we're already in the green so far because we hit the Braylon Allen over receiving yards, assuming he doesn't get any more negative yardage there. So that'll do it for this Bet What Happens Live. One last call for the likes. If we get to 200, I'll figure something out for y'all. We'll have an extra special treat for Bet What Happens Live on Monday. We got a doubleheader on Monday. Also for Sunday, instead of the 1 o'clock window, I will be hosting with Simon Hunter for the 4 p.m. window. Bet What Happens Live on Sunday. But until then, enjoy your bets. Enjoy the game, everybody, and good luck with your bets.
Okay.